The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells, and today we are on chapter number 23 in Drury Lane. If you remember, in chapter number 22 in the Emporium, we had found our protagonist, the Invisible Man, or Griffin as his name is. He went to an emporium and he thought that that would be the end of his problems, because he would be able to find clothes to wear and of course money that he would be able to steal from there. But his plan proved to be quite a failure because he overslept, and as we had done an important dream sequence that the author has given in detail and which holds out his subconscious fears and the fact that how lonely he felt in the society, because as in the dream he was actually buried with the in the funeral of his father, in the grave of his father, because he was invisible and inaudible. So in this chapter, chapter number 23, the list of characters is actually similar to what we have had. Dr. Kemp, the listener of the story; Griffin, who is the reciter of the story, or he is the one who is narrating his whole sequence. And we also have another character, the character of a shop owner in Drury Lane, as the name of the chapter suggests. So in chapter number 23, we find Griffin out on the streets of London, and we can say that he was in a bad shape because he is freezing cold and his invisibility until now has only proved to be a disadvantage, because he has suffered so much, as we have seen in the previous and the earlier chapters, that he has only suffered because of his invisibility. It has not proved to be of any value or any power as he had thought it would be. It has only proved to be a disadvantage to him, and then he realizes that it is not possible to stay in a city like London, because it is an overcrowded place. It is a place teeming with people everywhere, in the streets, on the lanes, and he doesn't even have a place to stay, and he doesn't even have any money, and any attempts have proved to be failures. So it is impossible to stay in a city like London, and he needed to look normal. What do we mean by normal? He needed to look visible in order to go any further, go anywhere, have a place to live, because it was impossible to go on being invisible. So from being normal, which means from being visible, he wanted to become invisible. He studied hard for it. He grappled with all the experiments, finally attained success. He became invisible, and now he wants back into visibility, because he has found that invisibility is not such a good thing after all. Maybe he thinks, maybe it proves to be of benefit later on, but right now he is in search of clothes, money, so that he could look normal, he could be visible, so that he could think out further plans. And then the Invisible Man goes into a shop of theater items, dresses and wigs, etc. in Drury Lane, as the name of the chapter is. When he enters the shop, it is an empty shop, there is nobody there, and then the shopkeeper appears. As we have done in the list of characters, there is the character of the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper appears only to find that there is no customer, there is no client, because obviously he is not able to see the invisible man. Since there is no customer, he goes upstairs to finish his meal. He was having breakfast. So he goes upstairs, the invisible man follows him, but the shopkeeper is a man with very sharp senses. There are people who have really sharp senses. They can sense presence, they can hear even slightest of voices, and this kind of man the shopkeeper is. He has very sharp senses. He can hear even slightest of sounds, just like the sound of somebody moving. So when the invisible man follows him upstairs, this man has a feeling that there are sounds on the stairs. Of course there are sounds of his footsteps, and that is why he is very alert. This man is very alert, and he is also suspicious. He is suspicious that there is somebody in the shop. He feels that there is somebody in the shop, but he cannot see anyone. Of course he cannot see anyone, but his senses are so alert that he feels that there is someone in the shop. Because of this reason, he takes out, after a number of instances when he hears sounds or footsteps, or maybe when the invisible man moves around or follows him just in order to see what is there in the shop which is of use to him, this shopkeeper, he takes out his revolver, because now he feels that there is really somebody. He senses danger. Maybe he thinks that there is a thief lurking around, hiding somewhere. He senses danger. He takes out his revolver and he starts locking the doors in his house and shop one by one. So he keeps locking doors so that wherever this thief is hiding, he would be locked inside and he would not be able to flee from the place. So he keeps locking the doors, and the doors of his shop and his house, it's in the same building, one by one, and keeps pocketing the keys. So he keeps the keys in his pocket. The invisible man initially waits for the man to go away or become busy. So initially, in the beginning, the invisible man thought, Griffin thought that, I would take something and go away after this man leaves or after this man becomes busy. But when he thinks that maybe I am locked inside, when Griffin has this fear of being locked somewhere inside, what does he do? Later, he loses his temper. He becomes badly irritated. Who becomes irritated? The invisible man, Griffin, becomes so badly irritated by the shopkeeper that he hits him on the head. So he has no other option. He just loses his temper. He is so angry that he hits the shopkeeper on the head. The shopkeeper becomes unconscious. And then what happens? The invisible man steals stuff from his shop. Can you imagine when Griffin told Kemp that he has done this? Kemp is listening to the story just like we are, just like the reader is. Kemp is shocked to hear this, that now from being a man of science he has turned into a criminal, he has turned into a thief, and Kemp is completely shocked at these revelations, at the turn that the story is taking. So the invisible man steals stuff from his shop, he steals clothes, he steals money and makeup, because it is a shop of theatre item. He steals wigs, etc., and he also steals the shoes of the man, because he needs to look normal, he needs to look visible. So of course he needs shoes and money and everything. Then Griffin applies the makeup, wears the clothes and wigs, the false nose and his boots, and his disguise is complete. So you remember how we had found the appearance, the physical appearance of Griffin, how it is described in chapter number 1. Do you remember? We have done it in detail, the physical description of Griffin from the eyes of Mrs. Hall. So you must remember that description now, because this is the place where he had disguised himself in the bandages, in the hat, coat, in the jacket, in the boots, gloves, everything, all the wigs and whiskers he wears here, and then he is ready to go out into the world. Just because he is normal, I again say normal means he is visible again, he regains confidence. Why this confidence? Because he had lost his confidence that all my experimentation, all my effort was in vain, but now he is confident again that invisibility will finally prove to be a source of immense power to him. So he has not yet lost all hope. He has not yet lost all hope, because he has suffered so much because of invisibility, and yet he has not lost hope. He still thinks that now maybe I can go somewhere, I can take some rest, and then I can think about what I can do with my invisibility. His plan is to use the money that he has stolen and his disguise to plan further. So he wants to plan further ahead, but before that he goes into an eating house, because he is so hungry to have lunch. But unfortunately he realizes that it is not possible for him to even eat publicly, because if he was to eat he would have to remove his bandages from his face, and that was not possible. So even though he has the money in his pocket, the poor man cannot even have lunch like normal people in a restaurant or an eating house. So ultimately he cannot live like a normal man. This is what he realizes, and the reader also realizes, and this is where the reader knows that this is where he decides to go into the countryside and resume his experimental work. Why was he again doing the experiments? Why did he need all that apparatus, all the chemicals that he was using in Iping? What was he trying to do? Do you remember? Yes, he was trying to become visible again. He is trying to reverse the process of invisibility, and this is where he has finally decided it is no use living in a city like London. Let me go to the countryside where people will leave me alone, where I would be alone, nobody would disturb me, and I would be able to resume my experimental work to reverse the process of invisibility. Now he thinks that he must know how to become visible again. This is very, very important. So this is it for chapter number 23, and again we have come full circle. We had started from Iping, where the invisible man or the stranger had arrived from London to do some experiments, and we have gone a complete circle where he tells us how he became invisible, how he saw that the invisibility had its disadvantages, and how he had decided to go to Iping. So the story is complete somewhere. The reader knows, Dr. Kemp knows why or how this man had become invisible, and why did he come to the countryside again. But before finishing off the video, we would like to do a short review. So let us review. Griffin realizes that he could not go on like this in London at least. And why not in London? Because London was a big city. London was a city where it was impossible to be alone. It was impossible to have a place where nobody would disturb you, and so he thought that he would not stay in London. He had to find a disguise, because he had to somehow become visible. Finds a little shop in Drury Lane that sells theatre items, costumes, makeup, wigs and other stuff. We have already discussed this. The shopkeeper was a man with a keen sense of hearing and is alert and observant. So the shopkeeper is alert and observant, and that is why he is able to sense the presence of the invisible man in his shop and in his house. He senses a presence, and being suspicious takes out his revolver and then begins to lock the doors. Griffin is overcome with anger and frustration, and he knocks the shopkeeper on the head. Kemp is shocked to hear it. Of course, the reaction of Kemp must be a complete disbelief. How can somebody do like this? He steals clothes, a handbag, some powder, rouge and sticking plaster. So he steals all the makeup, a false nose, dark glasses and a wig. He also takes the shoes of the man, and so whatever little money the shopkeeper had, he steals it, because now he is going to appear like the stranger that we had first met in Iping. Soon he realizes that his dreams of power and money through invisibility was a sham. It was a false dream, because nothing would come out of it. Because there were many hindrances, there were many difficulties in the path of success. Success and power does not come easy. He could not even take lunch in a public place. So when he realizes that what kind of power this is, I cannot even have lunch properly. What is the importance of the chapter? Griffin, as an invisible man, commits his first act of crime. This is important. Griffin has committed theft, and he has also hit somebody on the head. He has caused injury, which is of course a crime. Kemp, along with the reader, is noticing his steady decline in character. So Kemp realizes that this man's character is not normal, it is declining, he is deteriorating, he is going down. Here Griffin, we can say that he is going from bad to worse. Here Griffin loses any sympathy that he had gained from the reader in the previous chapter. In the previous chapter, remember, we had sympathized with him, poor man in a bad shape, but in this chapter we see that he is really behaving abnormally again. Griffin soon realizes that he could only get things but could not enjoy them. He had the money, but he could not even enjoy a decent meal. He says, a helpless absurdity an invisible man was. He thought himself to be helpless. In a cold and dirty climate and a crowded civilized city, of course he is talking of London. He says, I am in a crowded civilized city where nobody belongs to me and I don't belong to anybody. So of course he does not want to be in this place anymore. He just wants to go to some quiet place, and that is how we find him in Iping. And important quotations, that is what we are going to do now. I would suggest you can pause your video here, because we have one important quotation to do, and you can find this quotation in your book. Chapter number 23, in Drury Lane. Kemp hears this and Griffin says, oh, disillusionment again. I thought my troubles were over. Practically, I thought I had impunity to do whatever I chose, everything save to give away my secret. When did he think that his troubles were over? After he came out of the shop in Drury Lane. Now he was dressed like the stranger and he thought his troubles were over. Whatever I did, whatever the consequences might be, was nothing to me. This is where we says he lacks any sense of responsibility, because he does things without thinking of the consequences. He thinks that if I gain something and people get hurt, it is nothing to him. I had merely to fling aside my garments and vanish. No person could hold me. I could take my money where I found it. So he thought that theft was normal. According to him, this was not a crime. He was not a criminal. He was just doing things so that he would benefit. I felt amazingly confident. It's not particularly pleasant to recall that I was an ass. He now thinks that how foolish he was to be so confident, because later on he realizes, as we have seen throughout the chapter, throughout the 23 chapters, that invisibility has given him nothing except trouble. So at that time, even after coming out of the shop in Drury Lane, when he was in London, he thought that he would gain something, he was confident, but now he can positively say that he was foolish to think that way. So this quotation, I repeat again, you need not know the whole quotation, you need to know only a few words out of this, but even if you use few words from the book, I think your answers would really benefit. So this is it for chapter number 23. We would see you for the next chapter. Thank you.